Hey folks, 10-minute Tuesday time again. Before I get into today's topic, a quick update on the book. Oh boy, uh, it all takes so long, doesn't it? I was sure I'd be having it sent to you this week. I'm not sure that's true. The shipment will arrive probably Tuesday this week, but I'm having all kinds of challenges setting up the back end just so it operates seamlessly. I'm really keen to get this in your hands. I'm really keen to get it in the hands of as many people as possible. I'm going to do a free plus postage option for people just to go, look, I'm convinced that this is a problem that can be solved. Most people will tell you you can just manage insecurity. It's something you'll always live with, but it's just something you got to deal with. No, I'm convinced with every cell in my body that it can be solved. And that there are 7 practices that anyone who has ever solved it has followed, whether they were aware of it or not. In every time, in every case, these 7 practices showed up in their life. So if they can do it, I can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So I want to make it as easy as possible for people to get this book in their hot little hands. So just setting up the back end and make sure that it works well. I'm also integrating an option, not an option, but an automatic response with B1G1. So they're a wonderful organization that do great good in the world, so that every time someone orders a book, that some good happens in the world naturally, automatically, with a click of a button. So just making sure I set that up well so that every time someone gets a free copy of the book, a library in India gets a book, or a school in Pakistan or Bangladesh gets resourced with educational tools. So that's all taking time to set that up. Also making sure there's some options when you go to the shopping cart and you get the book, that you can also get the audio version. Lots of you have said to me, Jamin, make sure that I can get this on Audible, that I can listen to it. I listen to books, I don't read them. So making sure that that's set up properly, making sure that it flows in with the Unhindered short course, so that you've got everything that you need. If you go, okay, I want to solve insecurity. I believe you, Jamin. I believe you, but can you show me how? I want you to feel like you've come to the right place, and that you're confident that there's a plan, that there's a process, and that you've got all the bits that you need to get the job done. So I'm sorry that it's not ready yet. Please bear with me. I wish it was all ready yesterday, but it's taking some time. So another week without the book. So maybe next week, hopefully it'll be there. But super exciting. And thank you for all the encouragement, those who've emailed me, who've pre-ordered, those who are excited that this is out. That means a lot. And I think together to be part of a community of people who are sharing a message around this problem is super exciting. So today I'd love to talk about a concept that I highlight in the book. This comes from Brian Grasso and Carrie Campbell, the 4 stages of transformation. I love the way these guys have summarized the model, and it just flows in with the Insecurity Project seamlessly. So there are 4 A's, easy to remember. This is how anyone transforms their life. The first A is acceptance. And specifically, we are accepting that all we have is story. So most people will never get to stage 1, by the way. Most people will be like, no, it's not a story. I'm not making this up. This is true. This is fact. This is concrete. This is who I am. I can't tell you how many people, when they're sharing their story with me and giving their bio about how their life goes and what happens for them, they use that line, yeah, but this is just who I am. Like, are you sure that's who you are? Or could that just be the story you've been living out of? So when you come to terms with the fact that we are storytellers, we are sense-making creatures. We go into the world and we tell stories about our experiences. That's all we've got, story. 5 people all having the same experience and not having the same experience at all, because they're all making different stories. It all means something different to them. They're all paying attention to different detail and internalizing different parts of it. So that's an extraordinary step. It's an unsettling step for many, because it takes a concrete world into a world of grey, a world of subjectivity, a world that's loose and malleable and changeable. That can be very unsettling. Nevertheless, no one has ever transformed their life without accepting that all we have is story. The second A is awareness. So once you understand that all we have is story, what's your story? Do you have any awareness around the exact script that you're living out of, and where that was created, and when that was created, and why that was created? can you turn the lights on and do the self-awareness work to explore the exact patterns and forms of your story, your specific opinions, your specific agreements, the rules of your story, how it plays out. So there's some work to do there, but it's beautiful work, because if you can't see it, you can't change it. So sometimes a key aspect of the coaching role is in that awareness piece. I think coaching is all about giving you more awareness and therefore more choice. So stage 1 is acceptance. Stage 2 is awareness. Stage 3 is accountability. Not one of my favorite words typically. I think it fits into the self-discipline category. Typically, self-discipline is the only tool in the shed most people have for personal change. And then when they run out of their own self-discipline, they think, well, what if I could help? What if I could find someone who could hold me accountable to make up for my lack of self-discipline? So their discipline could make up for my lack of discipline. It's all very low-level motivation, though, and not the adult form of getting stuff done, I promise you. So this is not that. This accountability is accountability to yourself, which is responsibility, really. But you're holding yourself accountable to the idea that you have 100% choice and 100% responsibility. So I covered these two ideas really clearly in my first book, Elegantly Simple Solutions to Complex People Problems, because typically people think, no, I didn't choose this. I might have some insecurity, but it's because of what others have said and done. I wouldn't have chosen this path. I wouldn't have chosen this story. But it turns out we are exactly where we have chosen to be, because while we never choose what happens to us, we always get to choose the story we tell about why it happened and what it means about us. So we do have 100% choice. We get to choose every single thing that actually matters in our life. That is our domain. And we are responsible. Blame makes sense. I say you can never get upset at someone for blaming someone else, because you're totally within your right to blame the people who've used you, who've treated you poorly, who've ripped you off, who've been unkind. Yeah, blame them. Fine, makes sense. Just doesn't give you anything of value. You lose all power when you blame. You outsource responsibility to someone else. Therefore, they've got to fix the problem. So when you hold yourself accountable to the idea of 100% choice and 100% responsibility, then you get hope and power. Then you have the energy and the resources to actually change this. If you wrote the first story, well, then you can change that story. You're not the actor in the story. You are the storyteller. So there's lots of stuff that wants to bump you off that information and that knowledge. So that's why holding yourself accountable to those ideas is incredible. It's so easy to feel self-pity, to wait for things to be fair, to feel upset that they're not fair. But what do you want and what are you prepared to do about it gets you back in the game. So acceptance, all we have is story. Accountability, what is your specific story? Acceptance, awareness, what is your specific story? Accountability to the idea that you wrote the story and you can choose it. You can choose to change it when you're ready. And the final A is adaptation. So I like to think of it that you do the first 3 and then you get the 4th one for free. So adaptation is the fruit of that process. So as you accept that all we have is story, become aware of your own story, hold yourself accountable to being the storyteller, then you cannot not experience change. Your life has to adapt to the new stories that you're writing, just as your life already is the adaptation of the story you've been living out of currently. So it's just the end of the assembly line. You don't have to behavior manage yourself to get change. You don't have to focus on changing your behavior. It changes automatically when you change the story. Everything's created twice. Stephen Covey. Acceptance, awareness, accountability, adaptation. I unpack that at length in the book. It's a central part of all change work. If you can get your head around those 4 ideas and be held in that space by a coach, because you're going to want to run away from them, I find. So stay in the space. Your life can never be the same again. I hope that's useful. I love 10-Minute Tuesday. I honestly do. I look forward to it. I look forward to connecting with you, to being in your ears. I imagine you walking around, you're running, you're driving, you're listening. I have each of you in my mind and my heart when I'm speaking this, and I'm just excited about resourcing you to live unhindered, to be able to show up at your best where it matters most. All right, leave it there and I'll talk to you again soon.